Hello everybody and welcome back to Combe Valley Campers. Today is a big day. Not only am I introducing Sam, who's one of our camper van techs. Hi Sam.
Hi there.
We're going to clean the 2K T5 today. I can't do it all on my own. And today we're going to be stripping out the inside. We're going to strip out the cab. We're going to strip out, well, take the roof rack off as well. And then we're going to have loads of fun actually blasting this thing clean. So without further ado, let's get that bad boy in here. But let's see if it starts first. Just want to say thank you to A-Plan Modified Van Insurance for sponsoring this series of Combe Valley Campers. We actually have the 2K T5 insured with A-Plan Modified Van Insurance because they will insure your vehicle from the moment you buy it until you convert it to a camper van and beyond. And if you would like a special rate for your next policy, mention Combe Valley Campers at the time you're asking for a quote and they will sort you out. Oh, before we make a start, we've already had my man Dan in and we've given this a full service, and for the MOT we've replaced the lower front control arms. We're not how to in the mechanical stuff, really. It's general maintenance and servicing stuff. The main thing I think you guys want to see is actually getting this thing clean, so see if it starts. Hey, nearly didn't. Roof rack or inside first? Already looks loads better. Now we're all swept out, we got most of the loose crap out. I'm gonna make a start of removing the headliner, the side walls and the floors. Now we've already had a video covering removing ply lining and prepping the inside of a van for carpeting, but we'll go into depth here. But to start with, if you want to remove your headliner in a T5, T6 or most vans, you need a tool like this. This is a trim tool. You find them in most places like eBay, Amazon. They come in a pack with some metal versions and some plastic versions. And what we're looking to do is, if you see these plastic clips here, this is the standard Volkswagen trim clip. And they come in two parts. The main pin that goes through the layers of wood and metal, and the insert which kind of spreads the main pin like a raw plug. And all you need to do is get your trim tool in. Don't worry about hurting it because you're going to be replacing them anyway. And that's it. You just need to pull that center out and that's your trim clips. I'm going to do this all the way around and then cam this. When it comes to the filler strips in the middle, that's the same deal. You get your trim tool in and pop them out. We will keep hold of these because if they're not knackered, they're actually really good to clean up and retrim. And there might be one between the cab and this roof, but because it's got the bulkhead in, this one might actually be missing, but there's the first part we want to keep. So yeah, Sam's now going to get on with the anchor points. We think the anchor points, these parts here, and it'll be pretty much the only thing holding this floor in. In fact, there are some Phillips screws in there as well. But because the floor's so knackered, we'll get these anchor points out first, and then we're probably just going to crowbar the floor up and deal with the screws after, because there's no point trying to pick these out and get a screwdriver in there. So we'll crowbar the floors out, and then we'll just get a pair of vice grips or pliers or something, and then twist the screws out. Just save so much time. But yeah, already looking better. VW T5 interior lights, pretty simple to take out. and it's probably one of the first things you want to do because they're pretty rubbish. They came with just filament bulbs, and that one's disgusting as well. And that's all it was. It's literally a case of if you get your fingers down one side, pull it out, there's a plug in the back, pinch the two sides, pull the cable. We seldom use these when it comes to converting vans, so just make sure they're tidied away, just in case one day you might want to reuse that. Most vehicles, say you're picking up a builder's van or any commercial vehicle, 9 times out of 10 it'll have this sort of ply in it. We refer to it or call it trade ply. It's the sort of stuff that the dealership will charge you 900 quid for and then just chuck 6 bits of ply in. But it does its job. Like, this is a 6mm ply and it's designed to protect the van from anything you chuck in it. However, not good for van conversions. It doesn't fit right, it doesn't give a good result when you're carpeting. So that is the next thing to go. Generally, they're held in with Phillips screws. You've already seen that we've kicked out the wheel arches. They were well past due. But I think in terms of the order we're going to do this, side panels out first, then the floor, and then we'll attack the bulkhead. Cool. Now that already looked way better. Now what you'll probably ask for is the standard VW door cards left behind. Sometimes this might be the only panel you have in your vehicle. These, bearing in mind the condition of the vehicle, these are actually in really good nick. So there you go, the trade ply has done its job. If you want to come to apply your vehicle, you can reuse these, especially if you're having windows all the way around. These are perfectly acceptable to reuse and carpet over. Gives you a nice flush finish. In this case, they're 17 years old. They probably smell as bad as the rest of the vehicle, so we're going to can them. If you've got a long wheelbase vehicle, keep those. They don't come in the ply kits, and they're made of plastic anyway, so they're generally good to keep and you can recover them, or they provide really good access holes for wiring or whatever you might have. So for now we're moving them out, but do keep those. So, pretty much emptied out. Last thing is to do the floor. We need the right tools for the job. Let's get on it. I had a question the other day online. People said, why do you insulate the floor? I think that is probably pretty good proof. It was what, -4 yesterday, last night? And we're midday as we're filming this, and there is still ice on the bottom of that. So you insulate your floors if you, well, you don't insulate your floors if you wanted. I think I will, and that's pretty good proof as to why. The T5 bulkhead comes in, I don't know, I see different variants, maybe 3 or 4. This one in particular, it's got a window in, which is nice. Not going to keep it, but it's in 2 parts as well. So on the inside of the cab, there is a couple of T30 headed fastenings, which Sam is just getting on now. The rest of them is a 10mm nut. So I'm just going to go mad at it right now, and then this should be out in a couple of minutes. When it comes to removing your bulkhead, we will do a proper video another day, because when you want to fit a swivel base, or even when you just want to do a camper conversion, you've got to remove this bottom piece. We've done another video, in fact, if you check just up here, where we fit a Rusty Lee double swivel, we show you the process of how to remove that, but we will be doing it as this video series too, because we've got some exciting new products to put on that seat base to swivel. Size 8 steel toe clips? Not for me. So the next thing is removing these seats and then removing the cab mat. Again, we've done another video on how to remove seats. The only thing you've got to be aware of, especially in the newer vehicles, is if this seat in particular has a seatbelt pre-tension sensor, or maybe airbags in the seats, or even heated seats, you'll find some plugs actually underneath the seat base. I don't think this has got them, but it's worth checking. But like I say, points to note, if you are removing this seat, make sure to plug the seat back in before you turn the ignition on. Otherwise you get an airbag fault on the dash, then you've got to pay somebody to wipe it off. But in terms of removing these seats, this has 8 16 mils and there's 4 16 mils on this. We're just going to tear these out and try and stop ourselves from throwing up. In most used vans you'll get as well, this side step is knackered. Now, you can buy standard ones, they're pretty cheap, but what you're going to want to be doing is getting a deep side step when you come to replace the floor. They're generally anywhere between 12 and 17 mil deeper, and that enables you to put a new ply floor down, or sorry, some sound deadening and insulation first, ply floor, covering on the floor, and then this will lip over that, or a deeper step will lip over that and maintain a nice factory finish. But we're not going to keep this one, we're just going to pull this one out, see what lies beneath. Yep, nothing better. What I will say is keep these. If you're going to bin it, actually keep these clips, because you will find that things like that go missing, and if you want to buy just one, they can be expensive to buy. So keep those, and then keep the ones in the side as well. Just keep hold of them, put them somewhere safe, and then you'll be able to fit your new step with no problems whatsoever. Man, I can't wait to clean this. This is disgusting. Next thing we're going to do is remove the passenger seat. If you need access, just lift and flip. Can't wait to get rid of that. It's disgusting. The seat itself is held down with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16mm nuts. But before you remove the seat completely, you have a collection of wiring connectors down here. So they seem to be cable tied and pinned. But the thing you've got to remove is this sort of plastic chassis here. Now, they are held in by T30 headed fastenings, and these ones in particular are actually the security fastening. So if you look at the end of this tool here, there's actually a depression in it, and that matches up with the nipple in the center of the fastening and gets it undone, I guess. There's one here, there's one right down at the bottom. So what I'll do, I'll probably undo those first actually. And then you'll see that that whole section actually just comes out. One here and one just down there. So if you're going to be putting a double seat back in, make sure to keep hold of those fastenings so you can put this chassis back in. Or if you're fitting a swivel base, you won't actually need this anymore because you'll be hiding the wiring underneath the seat. So that's out. That'll be out of the way. Just got to trim that cable tie off, undo the 8 fastenings, and we're good. Next stage is the driver's seat. One of the reasons I took out the passenger seat is so I could show you what I'm doing here a little bit easier. Now, 2 ways you can take out the driver's seat. You can remove the seat itself from the base. We're not going to do that today because we want to clean everything out. So I'm going to remove the seat and the base together. But to do that, you've got to take off the handbrake handle. To do that, you need a 13mm socket, and you need to undo the 2 13mm nuts down here. Before you do that, I'm going to put it into gear, remove these 2 nuts, take the handbrake off, and then I can remove it and just leave it out of the way for a second. Then I can get under here. There are 4 16mm nuts again, and then the seat will come right out. Under the driver's seat there is more electrics, and they differ from van to van, from spec to spec. This is a start line with no frills, so the electrics under here are fairly basic. It's that old it doesn't even have like a seatbelt pretensioner. There is a little box holding in the electrics. In this case, they're just being held in with some Phillips headed or posi headed screws. I'm going to just remove the two that are holding the box in. And then that's just your control box there. It's just one of the body control units or something like that. Again, it differs from vehicle to vehicle. In this case, it's just those. Next job, remove the seat. I could just pull the cab mat and do the steps, but in reality they sit under these trims, and I want to get these off because they're stinking anyway. To do that, you've got to take the seat belts off, and for that you need to remove, whoops, broke that. You need to remove that cover. You've got two fastenings here and here, and they are a size 10 multi-spline bit. It's just a case of unbolting those, top and bottom, and that's the same for both sides. Once they're completely out, you can literally just pull these trims off. Let's get all these side trims off, pull the cab mat out, let's get jet washing. In order to remove the cab mat, you're going to need to remove the cab steps. And it's again like the side one. Just a case of taking them off their poppers. We will be reusing these if they come up clean. If not, again, replacements, new replacements are pretty readily available. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Remove the other one and then we'll pull the cab mat out. Last point to note then, you can't remove the cab mat entirely without removing the handbrake. It's just a case of using a 10mm socket on the end of the cable for the handbrake. Just note how many threads you've got showing. We've got approximately 10. Just need to... Oh, is that going to spin for us? Yeah, there you go. Just need to unwind that. Definitely keep that safe. Keep that safe as well. In fact, you can even tell where the nut was because the top 10 threads are actually dirty. But we'll pop that back on for safekeeping. I think we're at a stage now where we are happy with everything that's removed. Floors out, walls out, ceilings out, cab mats out, seats out, all the side trims out as well. And now it's time to do, I think, one final brush up. Let's get the jet wash out. I really cannot wait for that. And let's see what kind of mess we're left with after. From the vibes I'm getting and from the things I'm seeing, it's actually really not bad. So now all the dirt's out, or when all the dirt's out, we'll make a full assessment. But I think time for lunch, and when we come back, it will be parked up outside the other garage. We'll get the jet wash out, blast her out. So there we have it. We have done stage 1, I guess, of the 2K T5 van. We have stripped it out completely. I think we must have removed about 100 kilos worth of crap out of the back of this. Taken out the bulkhead, taken out the seats, the cab mat and everything else. In fact, Sam's just down by the workshop now, just spraying them off. We've had to stop and complete the filming kind of early because the water we've just rinsed off the vehicle with is actually freezing on the glass. And we're losing light as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned some bits and pieces about stripping out one of these vehicles. If you've got any questions or you've got any comments, leave them down below in the comment section. And please make sure to like and subscribe, because this is a journey that we're going to be continuing from this absolute heap of a van into a beautiful, beautiful camper van. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lee. This is Combe Campers, and we'll see you on the next video. But I think now it's time for a cup of tea.